Right then, welcome back to Speak on Stage. One of the things that is really interesting is if you've been watching the conferences, you may have seen the Democratic conference. I'm not going to talk about politics, it's one of the things I avoid like the plague, but you'll see how everybody's speaking online, everybody's speaking virtually, with a handful of people in the venue. And this is because we're in a different world now. As a speaker, you have to be capable of doing digital stagecraft, which is what I'm teaching you here. I've got a brand new course on it soon as well, which you'll be able to see. Your ability to broadcast is different from your ability to speak. Completely different. So for instance, when I'm talking to you right now, I'm kind of interpreting what you're thinking at the same time. Because I can do it with a live audience, I can see faces reflecting, I see when people aren't happy because they walk out. Because we've got a good relationship, you can put comments down and please, send your comments through. But the challenge is when you're broadcasting, you have to hope that your knowledge of people, your knowledge of material, and the knowledge of what you're going to be sharing with people is enough to get people to want to stay with you and work with you, because they can just go click more than ever before, or click with the mouse, because now people have just so many options in front of them, especially in lockdown. They just don't have to be there unless you keep them engaged. So with that in mind, here's the questions that as a speaker I have to deal with all the time, and I'd love to know if you're a speaker as well, what you're thinking, if you agree with this list, if there's anything that you would add to it as well, that you would say are things that you would do, and I'd love to know that. So I'll be commenting as usual all the way through. So number one, remember this, I don't care if it goes wrong. It doesn't mean you don't deliver your best speech, doesn't mean you don't give it your best shot, but you will survive if the worst happens. I've had everything. I've had the microphone not work, I've had the power go out, I've had the audience covered in rain. I mean, I remember my first trip to South Africa I did a tour of hypnosis shows. And I was on stage in Johannesburg in Caesar's Palace, which is a huge entertainment complex. And I was hired in to do a stage hypnosis show on their theatre. And so I've got about 500 people there. It's the beginning of that night of my tour. And I would say about a third, maybe a half of them are from the press. So people from media, invited guests, all there to see this stage hypnotist from the UK and Dubai do his stuff. So the show's going really well. We're about 45 minutes into it. I've got people on stage in full hypnosis doing lots of crazy stuff. The audience is laughing, and then the lights go off. Pitch black. So I'm on stage and I'm looking at nothing. Can't see anything. I've got people on stage behind me who will do exactly what I ask them to do because I've programmed them to be responsive to me as the hypnotist. But I daren't tell them to do anything for two reasons. First of all, they can't see what they're doing. So they'll do it and they'll hurt themselves on the stage. They could fall off and damage themselves. And also the audience can't see either. So we're completely in the black. So I'm looking across at the stage, at the wings, and the wings is what you call where the stagehands and engineers and technicians and production people are. I'm looking across at them. I'm going like this. What do we do? What do we do? Because the microphone's not working. Nothing. And he said, keep going, keep going. I said, I can't keep going. So he's desperately trying to make a phone call to somebody. So he's calling and calling, and I'm there in front of the audience. I'm saying, guys, I know that you think it's part of the show. It's not part of the show. Everybody in hypnosis, just stay where you are and just have lovely thoughts and dreams and chill out and relax, and I'll come back to you in a moment. So I'm looking across like this, and it must have been about 5-10 minutes, maybe about 5 minutes really, because your heartbeat rate speeds up when you're stressed. So in the end, I had to make a decision, which is, I know I can't do a hypnosis show now. That's gone. If your red generator doesn't come back on or the power doesn't come back on, then there's no lights. But what I have got is a theatre. So I'm in a theatre, and a theatre, you don't always see people with microphones walking around. Most of the time, you'll have actors or people just shouting or presenting. So I thought, well, maybe they can hear me without the microphone. So I said, guys, can you hear me at the back of the room without the microphone? And they said, yes. I said, in that case, take a big deep breath and close your eyes. And I hypnotized everybody in the room. Everybody. I took them on a journey for about half an hour in their minds to see success in their lives, see their future being really good, their job being fantastic, their life, their personalities, their relationships, all being successful. And after I'd done it for about half an hour, I thought, right, you've all had your money's worth. And I brought them out of it. I said, when you come out of it, I'm going to count from 1 to 10. Hypnotists will understand this. And when I count the final number, you'll open your eyes, you'll switch on your phone, and you'll illuminate the room. And then you'll give yourselves a round of applause, and you'll walk out in an orderly fashion. So I counted the countdown, I counted up, 9 and 10, open your eyes. And suddenly there's all these lights in front of the whole place. Really nice, beautiful. And of course, as I counted them out of it, I'd also counted out the guys who were in hypnosis next to me because they came out of it, opened their eyes at the same time, and a round of applause shook everybody and woke them all up. So then we start walking towards the exits, and as they opened the door, all the lights and music came in from the gaming area, the gambling area. Why? Because I didn't know that in South Africa you do get a lot of power cuts. And if you're working at a place like Caesar's Palace, then what they have is generators, but only for the bits that make a lot of money. The gaming areas, there's no way that they will have that go down. But things like restaurants, that's a coffee. Things like restaurants, things like entertainment, they can wait, they can come back again. So I learned the hard way. So if you ever get a power cut, head towards a gambling area and you'll be fine. But you will survive. And I've had tons of challenges like that. I'll tell you loads more in future episodes. But you do have to deal with it, and that's life. And you do in your life as well. All right, number 2, am I getting paid for this? If the answer is yes, then go for it. They've paid, they've invested. If you're not getting paid for it, is your reputation going to suffer if you walk? If the answer is no, then don't put up with people's crap either. But if you have made a commitment that you're going to be there, remember, if you have walked away, people will know that you're the person that walked away. And that's not what you want either. Number 3, are they still here and are they happy? Are your audience there? Yes, they are. Do they look like they're happy? Yeah, well, keep going. It's working. Will this lead to another gig? Will this lead to another gig? Will this spin off? Will there be an opportunity to work with these people again? Or will somebody in the audience see me and hire me? Will I get referrals and all these other bits and pieces? If the answer is yes, then you're doing the right thing. You continue. Number 5, how can I lead this? Excuse me, I'm getting a bit of a tickly throat. Expensive. Water. Costs too much. I won't do that again because I just had some coffee. Okay. How can I lead this to a better gig? What can I do on stage that's going to inspire people to be able to work with me in the future? Is there an upsell? Is there something I can put together? Am I already on the way to connect because there are people that I met previously before I went on stage who also organize events, who'd be interested in hiring my services? All these things are going through as you're on stage. Then afterwards, when you finish and you come off stage, you ask yourself, what went wrong? Because there's always something that could have been better, because you always have to find something that could have been better. And then what went right? And what I do is I put it into a bag, shake the bag in my mind, and take out the stuff that's useful. Then I say, what have I learned, which is the stuff that I take out, and I implement it for the next time I do it. And then can I get referrals as I'm on stage and doing my stuff? Will there be people who turn around and say, yeah, Dave, I'd love to work with you. Okay, I'll chat to you afterwards. This is fantastic. And let's see what we can do together. Because the best way to get any gigs and the best way to get a sale is a referral. Somebody turns around and says to you, you know what, I know somebody who's fantastic. Contact this person, they're brilliant. You don't have to sell. You just turn up and they go, right, I've checked you out and I think you're fantastic. I want to hire you. And as long as you don't show up as serial killer, not stabbing cornflakes, but, serial killer, you should be okay. So referrals are always important, but you've got to make sure that people, A, can refer you because it's referable, and B, you've got plenty of stuff that people can find online to be able to work with you after that. And then afterwards you say, what's my percentage score? Not my percentage, my percentage score. What would I get out of 100? What would I say is worthwhile out of 100? I won't spend today telling you about how to boost your percentages and how to break them down into everything. That's something I've already got broken down into a module in Speak on Stage, the training course. But there are certain ways of grading how well your event went based on the amount of percentage score that you got out of 100. Every percentage is out of 100, I know that. So that's kind of useful. So those are the things that go through my head as a speaker. If you've got other things that you'd like to add, then please do. Type them in here, send them to me. We'll be referring and returning to this subject again in future sessions here at Speak on Stage. But that is what I'd like to share with you as a beginning mindset for being able to be a successful speaker. I hope it's useful for you to see it.